Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been so long since I have filmed. My hair's curly today. And I wanted to sit down because I have a new brand in. This is the brand Ciele. I have their Tint and Protect. This is like a skin tint really with SPF. And then I have their Blush and Protect, which is a blush. Also has SPF, but you know, you would never go to a blush for your actual SPF. So I'm gonna be sitting down today and putting them on my face. These are not first impressions. I've been wearing them for a while now and I've done some reels on them. Those were first impressions, but I wanna get them on because I have a lot to say about this brand, and I did not buy their setting powder. That's the only other thing they have right now. I just don't need another setting powder. I've got, you know, my Givenchy one, which really I don't need anything else. And then I have actually a few others, but needless to say, I'm gonna put these on. So let's zoom it in, let's get down to business, and let's go. My hair is naturally curly, and I just when I'm really lazy, I just put it up in a bun and sleep on it like that. And then in the morning it's still damp. And so I can just kind of work it into these curls. So that works out for me because your girl's pretty lazy. Anyway, I have not been in the mood to film lately. So I had quite a few videos pre-filmed and that's what you've been seeing, but hopefully I'll get this one up sooner rather than later. Just been a lot going on in my life. And today I was like, no, I'm not filming at all today. Now it's like noon. I usually film like 9 in the morning. I like to get it done early. So I was lazy all day. It's rainy, it's really nice. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of do want to film. So it's just the life of, I was gonna call myself a creative, but like a YouTuber, but I also have a full-time job, and I was in Charleston last weekend with girlfriends. So it's just been like a lot and other personal stuff going on. But I'm gonna get criticism for this because this video is not getting to the review until like 3 minutes in. So all of you who get annoyed by that, I will put a timestamp. Anyway, let's get into this review because I've got a lot to say about this. This is the Ciele Tint and Protect, I guess, Tinted Serum SPF 50. And I have the shade 04 Light Medium. So I wanna show you, oh, by the way, these are press-on nails, which I've kind of fallen in love with. These are from Glamnetic. So cute. There we go. And I lost this one. I actually have it, but I'm too lazy to put it back on. But I want to show you what the shade looks like. Now, mind you, I'm at pretty much my tannest right now. So this shade actually works pretty well. I don't think it'll work though in the winter time. So if you are kind of like light medium to medium, 04 could work for you. But again, I am not my tannest right now. So that said, all right. Now, normally when it's a sunscreen review, I have my little quarter teaspoon. People always say like, oh my God, you're wearing so much. Guys, for sunscreen, you can put on like a little dab and sure you'll get some protection. But if you are expecting that to last all day, that's not gonna work. Quarter of a teaspoon is because you need to fill in the valleys and ridges on your face because obviously you have pores. So you can get into some if you just do a thin layer, but it's not really giving you the full protection. And the way that they test to see what the actual protection is, so this one says SPF 50, is by using the correct amount. And it does depend on the size of your face, but most people's faces aren't that different. So if you do wanna just be cautious and use the correct amount, quarter of a teaspoon for your neck and face. That said, you could do 2 finger lengths. I prefer 3 finger lengths. I also have melanoma, or not melanoma, oh my God, sorry. Melasma. I've got melasma. Melanoma does run in my family, so it's just a personal preference. You can do whatever you want, but I prefer to use more. Anyway, that said, I'm gonna put it on my face. No, that's not what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is I'm not gonna be using the quarter of a teaspoon today because this is really more like a tint. It's not a sunscreen. It has SPF 50 in it, which is great. It's an added bonus, but if I use the full quarter of a teaspoon, I tried it. It's just too much. No one's ever gonna do that. So I don't think that this is appropriate to try it like that and then me hate it. So I'm gonna use it how I would actually use it. And that is, where is my brush? I'll use it with this brush. This is the Say brush. I like this brush a lot. On one side of my face, and then on the other side, I'm probably gonna do a mix of hands and a sponge. So let's get into it. One more little note. So it comes with this top, and then you take that off. and it does have a dropper. I actually got a comment on my reel on Instagram from the founder, and she said that like they had tested all these different ways and this was the least messy. I don't like the dropper. I just find it to, I mean, this one is not the worst, but I just do find it to be very messy when you go to put it back in. It like spills over, you know, that kind of thing. So my preference would be any other version, but it's not the worst. It's definitely not the worst. So I'm gonna do it a few ways. I'm gonna do it on, oh my God, I've done this so many times. That's why it dropped all down my shirt. This is the Ciele Tint and Protect SPF 50 Tinted Serum Foundation. So they do call it a foundation. It's not a sunscreen. It does have SPF in it though. It retails for $44, which is expensive, but you do get 1.8 fluid ounces or 38 milliliters. So that's more like the normal size for a sunscreen versus a foundation. So it is pricey, but again, you're getting a little bit more. You do have 13 shades. I would say that the shade range goes pretty deep, but I think some of the lighter shades they kind of pull a little bit warmer than I would prefer. So if you do have a very fair skin, I'm not sure if it's gonna work for you. Okay, so this is what it looks like with just half the face. You can definitely see that it pulls a little bit warm, not terrible, but definitely, I mean, my summer shade. I'm gonna be careful this time. It has a natural finish, I would agree with that. It says it has 12% zinc oxide. It does also have butyllactose salicylate, so if your skin gets irritated by that, it is in there. The ingredient list is nothing remarkable. I do find that that natural finish does kind of make way for a little bit more kind of my oils to seep through during the day. I had to stop filming for a little bit because my battery in my camera ran out. So as I sat there, I just didn't powder, I didn't do anything. And as like kind of the time has gone on, I definitely see a little bit more of the oils come through in the T-zone, but those are kind of the specs of it. Okay, before I go in with the sponge, I just want to show you this one with my hands. I would say I used a little bit less, but I also can kind of get more sheer coverage with my hands. So you can get, I would say like light medium, you can probably build it up to medium coverage, or you can get light coverage. It's not sheer, so it's not gonna be like the lightest of light, but you can still see like freckles through it. I could see like darkness under my eye. It's a pretty sheer blend. Okay, so I do wanna just kind of leave it at that. I could probably go in and build it up, but I'm not super concerned with it. But I do wanna talk you guys through the finish of it because it is quite interesting. Most skin tints these days, I feel like, are very movable, very emollient for very dry skin. And I don't find this one to be that, which means I like it more. It's not my absolute favorite. If I have to say like my favorite skin tints, well, this is the Fenty. I love this stuff. I'm almost done with it. I've been using it for years now. This one is not really a skin tint. It's kind of more like a foundation, but this is the Too Faced Born This Way, and that has a lot more coverage. But I like both of them because they definitely dry down more and set more. I do also love, I know this isn't what this is about, but I love the Chanel one and I love the Pat McGrath. So these are some of my favorites. A lot of them are a little bit more, like they have a bit more dry down. And this one also does have that dry down. So I find myself really gravitating toward that just because I don't want to have it move around. I still want sheer to light coverage, sometimes more, but I want it to really just sit on my face. And you know, if I'm sweating, I don't want to have to worry about it. So I'm gonna try to sheer out this side just a little bit. But when I do touch my face, like it's already kind of set, which is amazing. And I wouldn't need to powder with this one. So that is a definite bonus. I think it also just looks really skin-like and natural on your face. Like I don't see any weird creasing. I don't get any lines through my face. The ones that have more coverage, like the Too Faced one, I will get kind of a smile line sometimes, and I don't find that I have that. This one is really, really nice. I don't think if you have super dry skin, you're gonna love it though, because I don't think it's gonna give you enough moisture. And that said, you could use a moisturizer underneath, you know, kind of do the normal skincare steps that you would do to give yourself a little bit more moisture. But for me, love it. The only reason I didn't take it on my trip last weekend is because I don't find that it sets enough. Like it's got a little bit of like that natural finish where I was in Charleston, it was gonna be like 90 degrees, and actually it wasn't that hot, but normally it would have been. So I do want something that sets a little bit more, but this is just a perfect like everyday kind of makeup. So really, really liking it. It is pricey though. One other thing that I did want to say, I put this on over no other skincare. So no sunscreen and no skincare, because this is just for like the review sake. I like to do it on a dry face with nothing else, just so you can see. So if I were to wear it over maybe say like a more moisturizing sunscreen, I would definitely have more of a glow. I think it looks pretty beautiful as is. I am gonna need to powder just a little bit in my T-zone. I'm gonna be using the Givenchy powder, but I don't think I would have to. Or I could just powder throughout the day and kind of like touch up. But that's kind of what I have been doing with this. It's not a super heavy powder, and I would just wear the kind of sunscreen underneath that I would want to wear. So that's what the foundation looks like. Now we'll move on to the blush. All right, so the next thing I have is the Ciele Blush and Protect SPF 50. Also, if you can hear the rain, it's pouring down right now. So this stuff knocked my socks off. I wasn't wearing any, but it would have knocked them off. And I kind of went out of my comfort zone, but I went with the shade Kirsty. And the reason I did that is because I got a sample of the Laura Mercier blush one, whatever the name of it is. And I got it in the shade Provence, and I loved it because it was kind of like not a bronzer shade, not a blush shade. It just looks very natural on my skin tone. So I thought that this would be, it's not really a dupe because it's probably just as expensive, but I absolutely love the fact that it has this doe foot applicator. I just find liquid blushes like the Laura Mercier one to be so messy. You squeeze out some, and I love the Glossier Cloud Paints, but I use so little of what I actually pump out, and this you can get exactly what you want. So this is what I'm using, and you can see the shade. It's quite like a dusty mauve, and I'm not sure what the actual shade says online, but I just think it's a really pretty, very neutral shade. And how I've been doing it is it's really flexible, so you can feel like you're putting a lot on. Like I can put these two kind of stripes on and it can blend out just fine. So I've been doing it that way, and I will show you how I use either like my same foundation brush, or you can use your fingers, or you can use a sponge. Look at that, like it blended out so easily. Now this is the foundation brush, so there's definitely some pigment still left on there. But if I do it this way and then just use, let's see, I'll use the sponge because I feel like that also gives you a very, very natural kind of look. Look at that. So this is what I've been wearing pretty much non-stop, and you can kind of build it up a little bit if you want. I'll use a clean brush just so you can see the pigment. And that's when you really can start building it up. I would say like if you use a clean brush and not just your foundation brush, you can definitely get pigment, but it's so flexible that you can blend it out very easily, either with a sponge, or I like to go in kind of like if I got too much in certain places, just with that foundation brush. So that's what it looks like. It really looks natural, this shade. I didn't buy, I think they have maybe 3 other shades. I obviously just bought one. But again, love the fact that it has the doe foot. I think this color is just so natural. You can wear it kind of to like use it to bronze and blush your face, but not like a real bronzy look. It's just enough that it looks natural, I think, on the skin. So that's what it looks like. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish up my makeup, and then I will come back and give you my final thoughts. So, final thoughts on these 2 products. They are stunning and very, very beautiful. Do I think that you need to run out and buy both of them? I would say no for this. I do think that this is, I wouldn't say it's unique in terms of foundations and skin tints, but I think it's been wearing really beautifully. I think things sit over top of it really nicely. You can layer it underneath your skincare or whatever you're wearing. And it just kind of gives you this perfected look without looking overly cakey or anything. Now, I'm not quite sure what skin type it's gonna be best for, and that's kind of the hard part, because sometimes like with my Fenty one, I just know this is better for those with normal to oily skin because it does dry down a lot. And then I have others which are not in front of me, but like say the Denisum, or the Pat McGrath. This is better for drier skin because it does give you a little bit of a more glowy look. This one, I feel like kind of for everyone, I guess, which is actually great, but it does take a little bit of trial and error because I think you have to figure out, do you need to layer it underneath your skincare or do you need to powder a little and just kind of like wearing it throughout the day. But I think it's a really nice one. I just don't think $44, I'm going to tell people to like rush out and get it. Now, my thoughts on it might change as I wear it more, but I think it's a really, really solid foundation and I'm going to continue to wear it with no qualms. I just think for $44, like, don't run out this very second. Now, this blush for $34, I know it's pricey. It hurts me to say that this little thing costs $34, but I also really, really love it and I have been wearing it nonstop. I took it with me on my trip to Charleston. I just can't get enough of it. Partially because of the shade, partially because of the applicator. So like, it would be interesting to find another, or to get another shade and see if I like it as much and if it's as flexible. But just this shade and this applicator, chef's kiss. Why do they not come out with other blushes with this type of thing? Like, we use it for our concealer all the time. Like, it's so, so helpful. And the formula really lends itself to being flexible and letting you sheer it out or add more pigment if you are looking for that kind of look. So if I had to tell you to buy one over the other, it would definitely be the blush. I would say hold off on this until, you know, maybe you run out, but if you are looking for something like it, it is really nice, just a little pricey. All right, guys, so that's my final thoughts. That's it for this video. I am very rusty on filming, so I hope this helped, and let me know if you have any questions below, and I will see you next time. Bye.